I'm hunting, looking for a come up.
What's up, Seattle Sports Nation? It's Jackson Saffon here with Marshall Charrington for the Seattle Sports Soup. This is the Monthly Brew. It's Wednesday, March 27th, and we got a great show today. Going to start off with the Hawks. Our last podcast was actually the day of the Cliff Avril signing, so we haven't been able to talk about all the new free agents there. We'll talk about the new updates with the Sonics, Huskies, Mariners, give you all the updates. But first, we're going to start off with the Hawks and Matt Flynn because the trade talks have been heating up. A few teams have been mentioned. The Jaguars, Bills, and the Raiders are the three front runners right now, and I would say the Jaguars are probably in the lead because of the tie with Gus Bradley, who was their new head coach, our defensive coordinator the last few years. Marshall, what's your take on the whole situation?
I got kind of that same take. I mean, Flynn would be a good fit with the Jaguars, but I could also see Matt Flynn staying put even with all this trade talk because Matt Barkley's going to fall in the draft and one of these teams could pick him up possibly. But I think the Jaguars could be a good fit because of the Gus Bradley connection, and obviously he knows him from Seattle. But I actually don't think a trade will get done. Them because I mean, there's plenty of quarterbacks you can develop in the draft. I mean, Barkley's still really good, I think, despite his fall.
The word is that if the Hawks were to trade Flynn, they'd get around probably a high 5th-round pick or a low 4th-round pick. And I personally, there's the viewpoint that obviously the more picks we get, the better because John Schneider is just a god in the draft. But I think we get just as much value out of keeping Flynn because Wilson obviously a mobile quarterback, so there's going to be wouldn't call him injury prone, but there's injury concern because he is a mobile quarterback. And also, with all the picks we have like 2 5th-rounders, a couple 4th-rounder, a 6th, a couple 7ths already. What is one more 5th-round pick? I think we already have double-digit draft picks. And with a team that doesn't have any really glaring needs right now, I think keeping a strong backup quarterback is just as valuable as adding another late-round draft pick.
I mean, you could get the draft pick and possibly trade up, but there's no value that's glaring, like you said. So I don't think it'd be that beneficial. But moving on to kind of the current team and kind of a new signing, Michael Bennett. News came out this week that he had a torn rotator cuff injury, and there was some concern about that. But the Seahawks knew about the injury when they signed him, and he will be able to play throughout the whole season and won't have surgery anytime soon to repair that. And I think he played with some of it last year.
John Schneider went on 950 and got interviewed, and he said that Bennett played the entire season last season with the torn rotator cuff, which kind of surprises me. My dad tore his rotator cuff a few years ago. Obviously, he's not a professional athlete, but he had to have surgery. He was out for like 8 months, so I don't know. It's not like it's some minor injury. It's actually is a big deal, but.
The production's still there.
He had his career high 9 sacks with a torn ACL and doesn't.
You mean rotator
cuff?
ACL. That'd be amazing.
ACL. No, all the ACL injuries lately get me confused. Yeah. But the rotator cuff, and Schneider didn't sound like he's going to have surgery anytime soon. So if he can produce like at that level with the injury, I mean that's fine as long as doesn't impede him.
Him and Cliff Avril should be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the sack duo.
Definitely.
Adding to Clemens and Irvin.
And because we have all these new guys now, there have been some questions about what position Cliff Avril is going to play, whether it's going to be the straight down defensive end, like the quote Leo position, or more of a Sam outside linebacker position. Because he played linebacker in college, but he's played primarily outside defensive end pass rusher in the NFL.
I think he's a hybrid type.
Yeah, and
can stand up or get down in the pass rush be useful.
And that flexibility is going to be really good, especially because we don't know when Chris Clemens is going to be back. So being able to play him at either spot will allow us to mix up packages, confuse defenses, and think about when we can force third and long situations. You can put Irvin on one side, Bennett on the other side, and have Cliff Avril come in the linebacker position. Or even when Clemens comes back, you could go Irvin outside, Clemens on the other outside, Bennett in the inside pass rush, and then Avril rushing from the linebacker position.
If I'm an opposing team, I would kind of be scared if I get to third down and long.
Yeah, I mean,
the pass rush is going to be good. I've also the Seahawks have talked about, or I don't know, field goals from SB Nation talked about a kind of like a 4 defensive ends package, kind of just Irvin in there, Cliff Avril, Clemens, Bennett, all in like a pass rushing package. I mean, get to the quarterback at whatever it costs. Especially, it would be on a passing down, of course, but I think that new package will kind of help out with the pass rush. The new schemes put in by Dan Quinn should help out a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's really helped not only by Cliff Avril's flexibility and versatility, like we said, he could play either linebacker or defensive end, but Michael Bennett's versatility, because while he will primarily be used as an inside lineman, he could also be moved outside in a pinch. So there are really lots of different ways we can mix up the pass rushers to confuse defenses and to just keep the guys fresh and do it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so obviously the pass rush has gotten better. So the targets in the draft have kind of changed with all the signings. You're looking for more of an outside linebacker kind of type to replace Leroy Hill since he won't be back with the team. That backup quarterback position, get a mobile backup QB. Obviously some more beef on the defensive line, defensive tackle especially.
Yeah.
I think Sylvester Williams from North Carolina looks intriguing there, but he's projected to go higher than the 56th pick of which the Seahawks have, so players would have to fall, and Kawan Short, I know.
Yeah, and so because of all these signings with Harvin and the 2 new pass rushers, the team doesn't have any glaring weaknesses, which is very different from the most recent years in the draft, and so it'll be really interesting to see where the guys go. You could go look for an offensive guard because some contracts are going to be up soon. But because there's no glaring weaknesses, Schneider is going to have a lot of options and versatility in the draft. So I really think it's going to be a successful one and should really build to become an even more successful team.
Yeah, look for the name B.J. Daniels as backup quarterback that could come in mobile QB to back up Russell from South Florida. Get a look out for him.
Beautiful. Okay, and now we're going to transition from the Hawks news into the latest Sonics update.
Not looking so hot.
Yeah, just yesterday, I believe.
Definitely not looking so hot.
No, the Sacramento City Council voted on the new plan of Ron Burkle and the investment team to approve the $448 million deal for an arena. It was passed a 7-2 vote in Sacramento. So what that means is now the Sacramento investment team of Burkle, Mastrov, Paul Jacobs,
and this Indian software guy who's CEO, and he's just loaded with cash.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys just loaded with cash. Has a mild interest in sports, so he just throws his money out there.
Exactly, yeah. So now those guys will go get to pitch their investment team and their money and plan to the NBA, which our guys, I believe, have already done. And
I think both still have a chance, but this Sacramento ownership team gets to pitch their new rejuvenated deal or something.
And what this basically does, though, it is now all in the hands of the NBA. Yeah. The two sides really can't do anything else besides try to raise more money, I guess, or just try to pitch it to the NBA.
Sacramento could use some more money.
Yeah, they could.
For the team. I mean, they have the deal for the arena. Their bid for the team isn't that strong, like David Stern said.
Yeah, he said that they need to come up with more money for the team or else it won't even be considered. Which, that was good news, but that was a little while ago. Yeah. This new vote in Sacramento's favor is definitely not good news because it's a much better plan. I mean, we all anticipated they were going to have money for the arena. There was no doubting they were going to have an arena plan. But now that the figures come out and that it was passed and voted for in the Sacramento City Council, it's just progressing more for Sacramento, which is obviously not good news.
Yeah, so, what do you do? Do you think we're going to get the Sonics still? Or I think, because Kevin Johnson is doing everything the NBA has asked him to do.
He really is. It's been incredible. But one of the things...
We need a mayor like that.
One of the things I don't like, though, our mayor didn't do as much as Kevin Johnson's doing. Kevin Johnson's been incredible. But there have people been saying that the Seattle fans weren't dedicated. We were doing all the same thing that Sacramento fans were. I don't like the people that say we didn't try to keep the Sonics. We had people marching and calling for the Sonics to stay.
Yeah.
And so that piece is one that I don't really appreciate from all the fans out there saying that the Sonics never really, or the Sonics fans, Seattleites, never really tried to keep the Sonics. We did try to keep the Sonics. We just got screwed over.
Do you think they'll come back though?
Do I think they'll come back? I try to be optimistic. It's a tough one. I say I might have to say no, but it's early to tell because the NBA's Board of Governors will vote mid-April, so there is still
April 18th.
Yeah, there's still time for both sides to continue to.
I mean, they're both going to get their chances to pitch. Seattle has a super good deal. There's a hassle to move the team, of course, but I think the relocation fee that comes with the team moving to Seattle will benefit the owners and give them even more money. So that could be an incentive to move up to Seattle. True.
So either way, it's the saga goes on. But the good news, I think, is that it's in the hands of the NBA now. So Kevin Johnson, as hard as he's been trying, he really there's not much more he can do at this point. It's all in the hands of the NBA, David Stern, and the Board of Governors. They will take their vote, and we will get a decision. So
that's it for the Sonics news, and hopefully we get some more good news in the upcoming weeks.
Stay tuned.
Now we move on to the arguably best section of the show, the toss-up section.
It's definitely the best part of the show.
The best part of the show. But so our first toss-up question, and we kind of hit on this earlier, is Cliff Avril or Michael Bennett. Which one do you take?
For the bigger impact, I am going to go with Michael Bennett. Because the inside pass rush is one that we've never really had a sack monster from the inside. He had 9 sacks last year in a career year, so I really think he's just building on the success he had from previous years. And I think he, when compared to not just the sack numbers, because the sack numbers compared to Cliff Avril had like half a sack more, but the hurries and the knockdowns, Bennett was ahead of Avril, so I think you turn a couple of those a couple seconds quicker, and then you could get even more sacks.
Yeah, I think Bennett will provide that great inside pass rush that we haven't seen in a while. But Avril, his hybrid type play on the line and playing as an outside linebacker could be really impactful coming off the edge. I mean, just like think about Red Bryant taking up the blockers on one end of the line, and then Avril just coming around or through a hole and sacking Tom Brady.
He's not going to sack a Tom Brady, that's for sure. But, all right, so, Marshall, how about this? Over, under, 9.5. Let's go. Over, under 10 sacks for Cliff Avril. He had 9.5 last season. Over, under 10 for Cliff Avril.
I got to say over for that because he's going to be one of the best pass rushers that Seattle has seen in a while.
I would have to take the under, not by much, but only, not because I don't think he's going to have a successful season.
Going under.
I just think because we have so many pass rushers now, that they can't have them all to one person. You got to disperse them a little bit. So obviously both guys are gonna have a huge impact this season. I take Bennett. Marsh takes Avril.
I think Avril will play on every down. Every single down.
Every single down. All right.
Well, maybe not some running downs like first down or something like that. Short, second and short. But I think he'll be getting a ton of playing time.
Yeah,
this year.
Bennett's gonna be the man. We'll just have to wait. And see. Time will only tell. Next question. I saw this question posed on Twitter. I think it might have been Softy. I don't quite remember, but it's all about the Sonics. Would you rather a guaranteed you're gonna get an expansion team in Seattle in the year 2016, 2017, or would you gamble? Try to get go through the process this year to get the Kings team, have a chance to get the Kings team next year, but you could also have a chance to not get a team at all. Marshall?
I gamble because I want to see an NBA team in Seattle before I leave for college. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I want to go to most home games next year and just watch the Sonics surprise some people, even with a less talented team than the rest of the league. Beat the Miami Heat, Oklahoma City Thunder at home, not the Knicks.
I saw this question. It was really tough for me to decide. I would have to go with gamble, though, as well, because an expansion team, you're really not getting the cream of the crop talent-wise. And you'd also have to wait, obviously, like 3-4 more years. So I think you gamble because it's probably 50-50. It's a toss-up at this point to get the Sonics. And so I think that's good enough odds for me. But one quick more point on that, we kind of posed this question on Twitter, is who would you guys like to see the Sonics Kings to draft next year, because obviously they're going to be most likely going to be a lottery pick. The guys like Otto Porter, Alex Len, guys like that. I've never really been an Alex Len fan. Oh, it was the guy from UNLV. Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett. Yeah. Anthony Bennett and Otto Porter. I'm huge fans of those guys. Never really been an Alex Len fan. He's like a 7'1" center, but he's never really seemed that skilled to me when I watched him play.
I go with Otto Porter if he's still on the draft board.
Yeah,
he's a baller.
Very versatile.
Could be National Player of the Year.
He could be. So we'll see how that pans out. Maybe we'll post that question on the website for you guys. Next question, though. We'll transition a little bit to March Madness. Both of our brackets are totally destroyed, so good luck to all of you who are in the bracket pool with us. But with Oregon and Arizona, 2 Pac-12 teams still in the tournament, we obviously have rivalries with both teams, but there are the Pac-12 ties. So do you root against them because of the rivalry UW has with them, or do you root for them because of the Pac-12 ties? Marshall?
I root for them because you want that Pac-12 national brand to get boosted somehow. I mean, it's been so weak the past couple of years. It's good to get some national attention, and always good for next year when it comes decision time for the NCAA tournament again. You say, oh, what team should we put in from what conference? I mean, if a Pac-12 team is on the bubble against some other team, they would choose a Pac-12 team because they know the Pac-12 is a strong conference. So I got to go with Pac-12.
Yeah, usually for these kind of debates, I just follow my bracket. But at this point, my bracket's in the trash. So I'd probably agree with Marshall and root for the Pac-12, build that Pac-12 brand so the conference schedule can look tougher to the selection committee. So if UW gets some good wins in conference, that'll obviously help their chances of making the tournament. The one thing I don't want, though, I don't want these teams to have so much success that some recruits will be taken from Washington to go down to those colleges.
That's true.
So they're
on that note, though, Aaron Gordon decides his college decision. Has his college decision a week from today at the McDonald's All-American game.
That's a week from today? Oh, man.
Yes, sir. And he will be choosing between Arizona, UW, Oregon, and Kentucky, but Kentucky's not really in it.
And so it's looking like right now the word is he's leaning towards Arizona. So I'm going to post a question for toss-up. Would you take Arizona or the other 3 schools? Arizona versus the field. What's your pick, Marsh?
I got Arizona because he wants to go play in Tucson, just ball out with the Arizona team, win a national championship, go to the NBA, and have a good life.
Well, that was good. That was very well done. But no, it's gonna be the field. UW, Oregon, and Kentucky. Those are all 3 great schools. Kentucky is a pro-making machine.
Dude,
he loves UW.
No
Oregon, they've been balling out. If they're losing all their front court players. They get a big front court player. Oregon could be unstoppable. Any of those 3 teams, Aaron Gordon would love to go to. So I am taking the field in that one.
Yeah,
and I guarantee personally guarantee it'll be the field.
No way. Aaron Gordon, a week from today, Arizona.
We will have the updates. All right, so moving on from our toss-up section, we are going to talk about Husky basketball now. The new recruit they just got is Mike Anderson, and Marshall is going to give you the update on him.
All right, so Mike Anderson is a 6'5", 200-pound guard/small forward out of Missouri, specifically Moberly Area Community College. He is which is junior college. So he's a transfer, has 2 years to play for the Huskies. So he will start as a junior next year. Come in, provide the Huskies with some depth. This kid is a great shooter. You can kind of think of him as a little quicker and better penetrating Scott Suggs. He shot 54.3% overall from the field last year, averaged about 17 points a game, 44% from behind the arc, 9.8 rebounds a game, and of course shot 82% from the free throw line, which is always needed for the Huskies. Hit those free throws as a transition from Aziz Njai to an 82% free throw shooter. But he had offers from Iona, San Francisco, South Florida, Missouri State, but Washington was arguably his top offer, and he started the year and started junior college, not getting a ton of attention recruiting-wise, but as the season progressed and as his time at Moberly Area Community College went on, he started garnering D1 attention, and he started talking to Lorenzo Romar about 2 months ago, visited UW, Seattle, March 9th. Loved it, and actually committed on Saturday and made it public on Monday. So I think that he'll provide some great depth for the Huskies and should see some exciting things out of him for years to come.
Yeah, I think that he's the perfect kind of player who could come off the bench, provide a scoring and rebounding spark that we haven't really had, because the guys coming off the bench are guys like Andrews who play good defense and can run the ball but are kind of inconsistent scoring-wise. If you bring a guy like Anderson off the bench who can really shoot the lights out and get to the hole as well, he would definitely provide a good spark. I remember Lorenzo Romar commenting on this, or just commenting on the team in general, saying that this upcoming year we're going to have a lot more guys that can put the ball in the bucket.
Yeah.
And so he realizes this is the kind of guy to add that will just make the team a lot more efficient scoring the ball.
And Romar had his season-ending press conference on Monday and mentioned that there was going to be 2 more possible recruits, and one of them was Anderson, who committed later that day, and the last one he's talking about is either Aaron Gordon or Zach LaVine. I think it's LaVine, right?
It's LaVine.
LaVine.
I don't know.
It is LaVine.
And so on that LaVine thing, though, because obviously he signed his letter of intent to UCLA, but UCLA just recently fired their former head coach now, Ben Howland. He had coached them for like 9 years, I believe. He led them to 3 straight Final Fours at one point. I personally was a huge Ben Howland fan, but I think it's fair that it was time for him to move past him and him to move on. And so there are obviously clauses in the national letters of intent that allow a kid to change schools if a coach is fired. And LaVine said that if UCLA doesn't make a huge hire and hire out of the water, he could switch, and UW would be a very logical place for him to go because they were second on his list from the beginning.
And he seemed like he could get his release from that national letter of intent, so that's not that big of a deal to worry about.
Yeah, and honestly, if you could get LaVine, that is a huge boost. Just think about the guys, the backcourt you have. If you get LaVine, we already know you got Nigel Williams-Goss coming in. Andrews from last year. We just got Mike Anderson. You could get LaVine, and then if you could
Darren Johnson, Jamel Taylor also coming in from California.
Exactly. And if C.J. Wilcox stays, that just makes that even more potent. Yeah. So we're going to be very, very deep in the backcourt. And one thing things going through my mind, obviously I'm not sure whether this could happen or not. If we could get Zach LaVine, then you could realize that this team could actually have some potential, and Aaron Gordon could realize, hey, maybe those guys are actually going to be pretty good. They can need some front court depth. Maybe he comes along too. I don't know. That's just me off the top of my head.
Would you rather have Aaron Gordon only, or Nigel Williams-Goss, Darren Johnson, and Jamel Taylor?
One Aaron Gordon versus those 3 guys?
Would you rather have a class of just Aaron Gordon or the rest, or just the rest of those 3?
Ooh.
That's a tough choice.
I'd probably have to go with Gordon because he is like one of the top 5 recruits in the nation, and if you combine him with Sean Kemp in the front court, that's very dangerous with Jarrell coming off the bench. I think we have enough depth in the backcourt with Andrews, Anderson. And if C.J. Wilcox stays especially, then I'd take Gordon. Yeah. If he leaves, then it's probably a little closer.
I would take Gordon because you have that starting lineup. It wouldn't give you as much depth, but it'd give you a really good starting lineup.
Yeah, he is ridiculous.
Obviously, the prime situation would be having all 5, Anderson, Taylor, Johnson, Nigel Williams-Goss, and Gordon. So.
Yeah, and Aaron Gordon had 23 points and 21 rebounds in their state championship loss.
Yeah, he has a new highlight mixtape out. Yay Area's Finest is just dirty. You should watch that. But make sure to check out Aaron Gordon announces in a week, so keep your ears open about that. All right, so Mariners opening day is coming up Monday. It's kind of crept up on me, at least.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Quick. They face the Oakland Athletics 7:05 p.m. Monday night. Make sure to stay tuned to your TVs. I definitely will be looking for that one. But, the Mariners, of course, they've shown their power in spring training, but do you think it'll transition to the season?
I hope so. I definitely think they'll have more pop than last year. I don't even think that's up for debate at this point.
Yeah.
Michael Morris hit another homer in the spring training game recently. So he has his 7th of the spring, which is, if he can keep up anything near this pace, it'll be a great season. I think it will transition into the season. I mean, I don't think we'll be quite on the tear we've been on this spring. We've been averaging almost 2 home runs a game.
We have like 52 homers now, which is a spring record for the Mariners.
Yeah, I don't think we can keep up that pace. But I do think that the power will translate over, and I think we will definitely have a more successful season from the plate than last year. I just wonder about the rotation. It hasn't even been finalized yet. I mean, opening day is in like less than a week.
Yeah, we got Felix, Hisashi Iwakuma, Joe Saunders, who didn't pitch that well this past week. Then I think Brendan Maurer will make it, the rookie. He's part of the Big Four. People have been calling it the Big Three, but it's really Big Four because Maurer has shown his skill. He had a 7-inning outing this past week, no runs, some 7 strikeouts or something. He was pitching well. So him, and I think they're gonna have to go with Bevan.
Yeah, probably.
Even though Bevan hasn't been pitching that well this offseason and this spring training,
he's shown some signs though that he could really. I don't know. I like Bevan. I think he's shown some signs that he could actually be pretty good.
His control needs to get better.
Yeah, everyone's control needs to get better.
He's huge, 6'7".
Is he really 6'7"?
Yeah, he's
That's
huge.
a monstrous
guy. The other guy is Jeremy Bonderman, but I think if they can, they'll send him to the minors to get some more experience in because of his he's been out for 2 years due to injury, so that'll be something to watch. Mariners home and opener, Astros Monday.
The Astros are now they're now in our division. Obviously, they switched leagues for those of you who don't know. But back to that pitching rotation, John Garland. Obviously, he opted out. He had the opt-out clause of his contract, so we sent him down to the minors.
He went to the Rockies. Actually, signed a major league deal. He's going to be pitching for them this year.
Yeah, and so Blake Bevan, as we said, for that 5th spot. Other guys,
I would have kept Garland over Bevan.
He has not had a good spring.
Garland's having some great control.
I don't know,
Talked to Jason Churchill on Twitter, Prospect Insider. He said he expected Garland to be in the starting rotation, but I guess they like Bevan better.
Yeah, and I like Bevan over a guy like Erasmo Ramirez.
He's starting the season in the Penn or AAA. I forget which one.
Ramirez is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has shown a little bit more inconsistency than
Ramirez
Bevan.
is a fighter, though. 5'11" or 5'10". He's a pitcher. He's throwing 90s.
Yeah, he brings the heat. I mean, he's good. And
the Mariners have a tough first month. Tigers, Angels, Rangers, White Sox, Oakland A's, and the Astros scattered in there. Get some couple wins there.
Yeah, hopefully.
But it'll be interesting to see. I think the first month will really be telling of how the season goes, to see if that power can carry over, how the rotation goes in the bullpen. Cameron Lowe got out of the bullpen. He's like 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, we got some monsters here.
He's huge. He should provide some great bullpen depth. But also on Mike Zunino, got sent down to AAA. He will start the season in AAA. But he should be up mid-June, maybe with Holtzen or Walker, Paxton, one of those two. And I think them, if they are contending in June or July and they get Zunino and some of those starting pitchers, they'll only make a boost. And also, if they're contending, I think Jack Seal offload some guys or offload some prospects, since they're so rich in talent in the minor league season, to get some impact guys, maybe on the contract years of their deal, maybe make a run in the playoffs.
Definitely, you never know. Obviously, being in the tough division really hurts. With the A's, the Angels, and the Rangers, all are very, very good, very young, so that'll make it tough. But we made our win total predictions about a month and a half ago. But I think with opening day about like 5 days away, we'll make them again. Marshall, what's your? I said 81 and 81 last time. I think you said 86 wins.
Yeah,
last time.
What's the new call, 500. So I gotta say, I still gotta stick around with like 88. They're gonna surprise some people, I think.
I think they'll surprise some people. I have actually been
Murderers Row in the middle of the lineup. Morales and Morse. That'll be huge.
That will be huge. Very big. I've been very encouraged by the power I've seen in spring training. The pick we made was before all this had really gotten going, and I said 81 wins. I'm going to up that. You know what? I'm just going to Bold prediction. I'm gonna go 90 wins.
Oh.
I think they can pull it out.
Wow.
I think the pitching has been good. If guys like Bevan can step it up at the back end of the rotation,
wow,
they can really surprise some people. I know I'm probably gonna be dead wrong here, but you never know. I think they can pull it out. I think that's all we got on the Mariners preview. And now to finish up our show, obviously the last part of our every show is the shout-outs.
Oh, jeez, my shout-out.
I will go first. I'm going to shout out to Team USA Soccer. They didn't get the win last night, but they tied Mexico, really helped their position to qualify for the World Cup. They really had trouble playing in Azteca, and they really had a good showing. Jurgen Klinsmann, great coach.
Shout out to Eric Wedge growing a white beard. A gray, huge beard. You got to see this when it comes opening day. So make sure to follow us on Twitter at CSportsSoup. We're gaining those followers, actually.
Yeah, we are. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Definitely.
Thanks for listening, guys.